Thank you for coming out on this rainy day, but it's a beautiful day because we are celebrating the book launch of Jayla Green. How about a round of applause? Now, before we get started, I just want to go over some general housekeeping rules. If you have to use the bathroom, they are located right outside of the door, all the way to your left, okay? Also, too, we're going to go through a couple different things today. We're going to do a Q&A. I'm going to ask a couple questions that you may have asked when you registered today. I have a couple questions of my own, and then we're going to open the floor, too, if you didn't get the chance to put it in when you registered, okay? And then we're going to enjoy some food and just celebrate this awesome woman, all right?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't know, Jayla is a first-time author, and she's excited to share her book, 411, A Journey Through Anxiety. And it follows a young girl's journey from youth to adulthood, trying to move beyond her anxiety and how it impacts her choices, her self-esteem, and her relationships. In addition to her book, Jayla has a variety of other projects in the work. So look out and discover what Jayla has been up to and be inspired by her love and her words. Once again, let's give a round of applause for Jayla.
Appreciate everyone who came out today and supported me along this whole journey. It's been a lot, but you guys have supported me and I appreciate that.
Now, one of the questions that we had on the website that trended a lot, we had 3 people ask this question, and that is, what and or who inspired you to write this book?
So it really started off like just expressing myself and just like writing to get out emotions, and then just it turned into just watching people and like watching people live life and how they live life and the difference between how I and how other people live. So then I was like, I would like to write a book about this whole journey of life.
Awesome. Now, can you speak a little bit about what your writing process was like?
Long. So I don't know how long everybody's been following my whole journey, but I initially said that I would be releasing this book back in 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019, and then I was like, okay, next year. I'll do it next year. And then next year turned into now. So it's been a little of a struggle learning and finding people to help me and doing the whole process. But throughout it, I found some really helpful people helping me publish. And that was Brown Butterfly, my cousin actually, Renee, and she helped me with my whole publishing, and she helped that process go smoothly. So I really appreciate her a lot. Without her, I think I would have waited another year to publish. I had help with my marketing as well. And a little help with that helped me to do everything, because it is a big load just writing your first book and learning how to publish and everything. So overall, it was a really good journey.
Now, you spoke a little bit about how the first idea came in 2019, about 4 years ago now. Now, we have a question here that asks, when was the first time you knew you wanted to be an author? Was it in 2019 or was it before then?
In 2019. It was only because I loved poetry and I discovered that I was really good at writing poetry. So once I knew that, then I'm like, well, I need to help other people and express myself, because I know the way I'm feeling isn't the way, or is the way that so many other people are feeling as well. So I did want to write, get that out there. I love reading poetry, so I wanted to be a part of the poetry community.
Speaking of the poetry community, April is National Poetry Month, and so it's just such an awesome thing that your book got to come out during National Poetry Month.
Definitely.
Now, were there any other authors or poets that you really looked up to that helped you with your craft?
My number one is Janae Aiko.
Oh, yes.
I really loved her music, and once I started listening to her music more, then I realized that she did do poetry and writing. So she is my number one that inspired me the most.
Now, Janae Aiko is a musician. Can we see any albums in the future, Jayla?
No. Maybe more books, but no.
Okay. Well,
No.
yeah.
No.
Well, okay, so you do talk about the possibility of more books. Now, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be more poetry books? Do you think there'll be more self-help, more nonfiction, or do you think you'll venture out into fiction, maybe something like that?
So I would say more poetry, definitely. And then also self-help. And I don't know, I will probably do more of script writing in the near future.
Oh, that is really awesome. That is really. Now, are we talking script writing with TV or movies or both?
Both.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Do it all.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Oh, that's really amazing. Well, I will be on the lookout for sure, and I bet everyone else will too, right?
You spoke a little bit about this too, that the topic is mental health with an emphasis on anxiety. Now, we had a question from the website that asked, when you were writing, or even before, how and when did you identify the true stealer of joy, anxiety, in your life?
That's a really good question. When did I identify it? I would say I didn't identify it until maybe high school, but I always knew I was an anxious person. I never really liked to be around other people a lot. So I did know it from there because other people think anxious and just communicating with other people was anxious, gave me anxiety. So I did know it back then, but I didn't really realize it until I would say I was older in high school, maybe 16, 17.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. And I also want to thank you for coming out here and being up here because I know that can cause a lot of anxiety. So how about a round of applause?
April is National Poetry Month, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't know if you all know, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we'll be putting the book out on display here at the Zion Bend Public Library all throughout that the month I think this question is a great one too, because you talked a little bit about your experience. But what is it that you hope everyone takes away when they read your book? The core anchor thing that you hope they take away.
I hope that they take away that they're not the only one that is thinking away or feeling away. Or isolating themselves, just they're not alone. That they have people around them. They're not alone.
We have a couple more questions, and then I'm going to open it all to you all out there, okay?
The last question we have from the website was, and you actually already spoke about this a little bit, but maybe you can go a little more in depth. It was, when did you realize that you were ready to start the publishing process? And what did that process itself look like? I know you talked about Brown Butterfly and your cousin. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I reached out to her and then I got the prices and everything and I'm like, okay, let me save a little bit so I know exactly what I need to do and can be ready at that time. So I told her, give me a few months and then she did tell me all of the steps that I would need to do and how long it would take as well. So that gave me a good timeline when of everything that I needed to do. So she told me about 6 months.
Okay.
So it took me about 6 months to publish, do the illustrations. I would say the illustrations were one of the longest
Oh, yeah.
that I had to do.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I hope I
Hey, you answered it, so that's the good thing. No, that's awesome. Okay, awesome. So now we're gonna open it up. If you all have any questions, feel free to just yell them out. Oh,
What gender are you trying to reach, and what age group are you trying to reach with your?
So it's mainly females or women. Age group would be younger girls or young adults. Yeah, 18 maybe a little bit lower, 16 to about whoever I guess wants to read it, but 16 to about I want to say 25.
So I was just wondering, you said you do it like journaling. So I was wondering, Jayla, did you actually like maybe come up with pieces after speaking with people, like in interviews, or your interactions with people would generate an idea for some of your work?
Yes, definitely. A lot of it was solely based off of interactions with people. Whether it was an interaction that affected me or an interaction that heavily affected someone else.
Okay.
What continues to give you the drive and motivation to persevere? Because I know at times you got discouraged. So, what advice would you give someone that's thinking about writing their book in order to stay focused and keep it going?
I would say to just keep going. Like, you have to have that drive in yourself to want to do it and not give up on it, because that was really my only drive that I had. Was I wanted this to happen and I didn't want to push back my timeline or push back anything, so it just had to happen. And then I would say advice would just be to find people that can really help you establish what you want in that time frame, because realistically you can't do everything by yourself. So you need people. So find a few people that can help you and support you and go from there and keep pushing your own self.
I have a question. Your illustration on the cover, tell me about it. It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So I actually thought of the name and the illustration before I was finished writing the book. So that kind of helped me write the book a little bit more, because I based it off of what the illustration or the cover represents. And it's just a girl who's torn in two. One is always hurting and one is always motivated and growing and happy, but there's this piece in between them that's just like they can't live without each other.
You just gave me the chills. That's cool.